Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the Laughing Stock. I am sorry it took me so long to get up tonight. Just gonna do a shorter stream just because it's already late. I've been working on the dashboard. I finally got, I think everything is updated and working correctly, which it's more of a pain than it needs to be, but it's all good. I did want it back up and running because it was kind of annoying because I do like to look at it. It's a good way to just kind of reflect on what's going on with things. As you can see, like, China was obviously a big thing today. I think JD was up, Bobble was up, a bunch of the, PDD, most of the Chinese names that you probably know just because they're the bigger companies that tend to be more, even on the value side, actually, just because even like Burry, I think his entire portfolio is most of those companies right now. So he probably killed it today. But what else is going on here? Either way, just wanted to get everything updated. It wasn't just that; it's other stuff in the background that I noticed wasn't working properly. So I've been working on that. Another thing is I won't be playing music. I don't know if anyone even cared or noticed or heard it. I never honestly I don't really watch my own videos. I just watch kind of Johnny's. But apparently it was because it was picking up that we're playing music. I don't really care if music was picked up. I know later on if we monetize the videos we wouldn't get paid for it. I don't really care about that. But apparently it wouldn't let them play in certain countries because of some kind of reason. I don't know what the reason is. But either way, the point's not to limit where people can watch this. So I won't be doing music anymore, I guess, which is kind of annoying. And that was the first time it happened. So maybe it was just like one song or something that played. I'm not really sure why it did that. But it doesn't really matter. The week so far has been okay. I had a rough day on Monday, and then today was better. Kind of bouncing around. I kind of... Last week I was super busy. I was traveling and everything, so a lot of stuff I probably held longer than I should have, and stuff was going down. So part of swing trading is even though it's not quite as like intense as day trading by any means or anything like that, you still have to kind of keep on top of things. And I wasn't always putting my orders in when I should have, so that kind of hurt me in the long run. I shouldn't have done that because Monday when I was going back through, I was looking. Hey Trey, yeah, sorry man. I was apologizing. Sorry, I know it's late. I was just saying I got updating a bunch of stuff, so it took me forever to get this going. I put a message on the Discord that I was going to be late, but I wanted to get this updated, and I haven't had time to play around with this. So once again, I do apologize. But to be honest, I think most people will probably watch this in hindsight, not necessarily live. Which, I mean, not to say I don't want you guys to tune in live. But let's go to the portfolio. So I've trimmed some stuff. LUNR, I did not didn't work out quite yet like I was hoping. It's actually the chart. I'm actually surprised it's pulled back so much. I really thought it was going to do more than this, but you know, had a few big days, and then since then has just failed to do anything more from here. So we'll see. It hasn't broken completely down, but it is below the Bollinger Band, and it looks like it's kind of headed towards this 10-day moving average. It does a touch it and bounce right off of it. There's a good chance, or at least does one of these where it kind of hovers around for a little bit. So I figured I'd trim the position, and then if I do see a signal that it could go back up, we'll get in it. To be honest, it's just one of many stocks. I really not worried about it. I just honestly thought the news was more bullish more immediately, but I guess it's already been priced in. I guess most people had priced that in probably into this range, and this was the rest of that news getting priced in. So it kind of is what it is. But I trimmed some, I believe, on this down day, so wasn't a total loss, but kind of annoying that now it's back down to here because I believe I'm below my cost basis or right around it. I think I got in at like 770 or 780 on that one. So whatever, it's kind of pulled back now, so it's not doing great. PCT is still killing it. I mean, this has been trimmed so many times. Honestly, this is only a decent position just because of this ridiculous chart here. You know, I got in on maybe this day, or I don't know. Maybe it was this day. I don't remember, to be honest. One of these 2 days, and I've just kind of held since, and it just has pushed all the way up to $10. So that one is a double or close to it for me within a week, which is awesome. Kira Sushi's been doing really well. Prime Water's been doing well. Com's been doing great. AOI today, even though I trimmed most of it, had a huge day today, so it's kind of nice to know that last little bit's gonna squeak out something. We'll have to see what it's doing. What did it do in after hours? Not much, just kind of hovering around. But I mean, a big day, huge volume, 5 million for volume. So just another one that's worked out decently. And Vox, I think it looked like Vox was I think it was kind of consolidating. Yeah, that's right. It was really consolidating, but it's rode the 10-day moving average. So I'm holding it just this last bit, just seeing if it can break out one more time. If it does break out, I might even add on it, to be honest. It kind of did it here and then just destroyed it. And now we're around $6. So another huge winner. And then today, this is kind of what stinks. Is like some days I can really watch when the market's open, and other days it's impossible. So just with work and life and everything. So there was a lot of stuff that was moving today that I saw. If we go to today's daily movers, CAPR, that was one I saw it on the chart, and I guess I don't know if I wasn't convinced, or there was the insider buying too. So it should have been more of an obvious play. It was last Tuesday I saw it, which was that the 17th? It screams a buy. Yes. Oh God, it was the 17th. It screams a buy on this day. Maybe I thought I had missed it just because it had already been up for a few days. You know, it kind of. I guess this is 4 days of movement there too, so it does seem to keep going for a while. So that one kind of stinks. That's definitely a missed one. And I believe CAPR was the one that was mitigating its litigation. It had some kind of litigation against it. Or no, this is just one of the ones that had a drug that got approved. So I've been going through so many of these biotech ones, which a lot of it's, like I said, just kind of the news. There's not much you could really go on those. Liberty did really well because we basically continue on with the merger. Billy had a big day, even though I think I had just gotten out of this one totally. So it kind of stinks because it's right after I'm out. But I think I sold on that day because it told me to get out. I should have kept an eye on it and just got right back in. Because this would signal another buy. Was this? Yeah, it did bounce back on MACD. So, one of those things. Is there times it's happened before? Yeah, I mean it had just happened here too, and then it broke down. I guess the next day could have been a sign to get back out if you had got back in on this day. But then of course today, big day for it. So what else? QH has been bouncing around. Yeah, JD, like I said, had a big day. This was AOI, had a huge day. This data nexus, or however you say this, this one's been having a pretty good run. This was another one that was that Tuesday again? All these names from Tuesday, a week later. You know, one thing I was just looking at, I started been saving these on here just because I want to see how things do. But I mean, look at the stuff that was up last Tuesday compared to this Tuesday. I mean, if you had just bought these and held for the week, that's a pretty solid week. And almost all these are up overall. I'm sure some of the names are down, don't get me wrong. But a bunch of these are up a ton. I mean, if we just scroll through some of these lists, if you just look at the since last week, there's so many of them that have just had huge weeks. You know, and some of them, like I said, have bounced around. But if you just, I guarantee you, on the ones that have bounced around, there's reasons I could point out why it would have been it wouldn't have made sense. Like this one, I mean, this, you're not buying this on this anything there. Nothing there says to even buy that. So the ones that, you know, that look like buys. You know, fuel cell was on the down. You know, it had this day there, but then it was on the down. And this day would have signaled to get out. FTCI, finally. I mean, you think about it. This bounced all the way up here at one point on this day, and it's taken this long, but now it's up there. But I mean, you know, it's another thing too. You see some of these stocks, and they got 275 million in volume, when their normal is not even, I don't know, like 10 million probably. Either way, you get my point. A lot of these names have just been killing it, especially these ones in general uptrends. This one actually looks decent right here. It's a little overdone right now, but this is a, it's not too much of a cup and handle, but you can just see it kind of pulls back, and then it just walks right up that Bollinger Band line. Gevo's another one that I'm fully out of Gevo, right? I believe I totally sold that one. Yeah, another huge winner. Where was I? Lee Auto, another one. You know, same thing. Starts to break out there. Microvast is it's really small. Like I'm trying to get away from. Sometimes it's when I pull it in through Yahoo. It's really annoying. I don't know if you use their thing, but it constantly fails to weed out things like it's supposed to. I set it to not put anything under here under $1, and it keeps pulling this in. I mean, I get it. It's meeting some of the other criteria, but I specifically said to have it over $1. Neon's another one. In place. Oh my god, I'm still so annoyed that I got stopped on that one. QH actually looks like it's starting to break out again here. This one's interesting. What'd that do in after hours? Ooh, it held up. What data sources does your Excel utilize to obtain stock prices and other financial metrics? I use Share Radar. That's where I get all my financial stuff. Obviously, I don't know if you ever watched Roaring Kitty's stuff, but my whole point was to kind of rebuild his spreadsheets. So this all comes through that. So you can see in here, like I have different ratios, and it pulls in all my information, and then everything's kind of sourced from these back into the dashboard at some point. So basically, what it'll do, the way I have it set up is when I update it, it'll just update the tickers here, and whenever a ticker comes into here, all this other stuff is based off that, so it will just populate all the information for these. And then in the fundamental page, it's still through Share Radar, but the data is in these ones, so it comes in like here. So for instance, does this have, yeah, this has all the data like in F1, and then as soon as this gets pulled in, it pulls in my data. My data, you can see it's like down here organized, and then it pulls it back up, and this is just for like it's nice to be able to just see it with some kind of conditional formatting. RK touched on it too, but the real benefit is I can quickly look at this and just by the colors see what were good years, bad years. I know that's super artificial at first, but it allows you to kind of read through this a lot faster than you would if it was all just numbers. It's so much easier when you're looking at the fundamental side. And I know today so far I'm just kind of going through stuff based on charts, but I have found that the technical side of stuff is super helpful. It's like a few things that I weigh a little bit more importantly now, and it's not to say that the fundamentals aren't important, but in terms of me using a lot of these things as swing trades, more specifically, knowing that there's some kind of fundamental news behind something, whether that be a narrative change and it allows me to invest in things I normally wouldn't. Like normally I wouldn't invest in biotech, and a lot of the stuff that I would consider more value was rarely where I was looking. And I do find it sometimes it's easier, like going in some of these names that are really kind of exploding at the time. I feel like to limit myself to only the value names. Now, don't get me wrong. The benefit of doing it this way is, I can look through the charts, and then afterwards I can go through and I can say, oh, look at, MOMO has, looks great on the metrics. And then, from here we can pull it into the fundamental page. This first one is just an ad hoc one. So I can just type in, not mom, MOMO. I can just pull it in, and it will automatically begin to update this entire sheet for me. So then that way I can kind of get an idea of what's been happening. Now, Share Radar, you can pay up to 20 years or more, I think, for data, but I just get the 10 years. So far, it's not that it wouldn't be nice. I figure it's just money I don't really need to spend just yet. Hopefully someday. But you know how it is. You got kids and everything to spend your money on. One of these days, we'll get back to the spot where we can do whatever. But of course, this takes forever now. There it goes. So I can pull it into here. I have a bunch of different kind of metrics that tell me some fair values. Like on the high side, this one tells me 1168, so lets me know that there is room to run. And low sides are in the 5s, which kind of gives me an idea of how low it probably can go. And then I can compare it to the chart and whatnot. And then, and you can see, in terms of lows, that's actually where it dipped down to. And we can zoom out to like a weekly chart here and see it's actually touched $10-ish, got down to 3. So if we go a little bit further back, yes, you can see where some of these things, might not hold up. You can look at a monthly one too. If it depends on how long your holding period is. Like I said, I've been playing around trying to do more of a swing trade. So most of the stuff I'm holding for, a week to, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, depends. I mean, you could. This is the weekly chart, but if it breaks out on a weekly chart here and it's like following some of these things, I mean, it takes some time, but you can make huge moves on those. It's more just trying to capture as much as I can on a shorter term chart. So, I'm more looking in here, seeing if I can get this, $5 to like $7 move quicker, especially on some of these really big days. This one right here, it's telling me too, like on this day, it's already breaking out. MACD already becomes positive on September 19th. It does pull back, but it doesn't break through anything. And then, it just kind of holds and then finally breaks right out. And to be honest, we're just getting into bought territory on decent volume, but not massive, which to be honest, Like this is one to me. It looks like it should definitely go up again. You know, and this what makes it tricky is sometimes like, you know, this will be an EPS miss. So even though it's an EPS miss, you'll have to figure out like, you know, how big of a deal is it? You know, these ones that are down like that, you know, you assume that it probably sold off on that news, and today it was just kind of building up its whatever people wanted in it. Most people are probably fundamental investors, and you know they're more looking at what the business is going to do in the long term. And you know, you're as a swing trader, just trying to take advantage of those pullbacks and then, you know, reassessment of value. But having this is nice because it's really nice to be able to look at the fundamentals and go off this. You know, massive cash position compared to their debt, so very very safe company. Has great earnings even. I mean, they had one bad year so far. Other than that, I mean, yeah, going way back, but otherwise performing pretty well. Shares are being bought back. You know, they, like I said, just net profitable. So to be honest, on all those kind of things, everything looked good. No insider, but on the metrics, book metrics, looks good. So, you know, here's one that like when I'm trying to swing trade, I can look at this and have a little bit more confidence to go into one of these, because that's probably why you see it a general uptrend. We're above the 200-day moving average. This breakout here, it looks good. I would actually argue that this looks like a buy to me. I'll definitely keep an eye on it tomorrow morning and see what it does. Zim's another one. I saw it last week and should have got in. I think it might have been on this day. Really, really around there. And that's the other thing too. You pull up like the Zim chart, and once again, you know, that MACD becomes positive. It starts breaking out above all the moving averages. Decent volume on that day when it finally actually broke through. And that's the other thing too, is like you start to see, you know, decent volume on some of these breakthroughs, and then it starts, like I said, if it starts to ride that Bollinger Band like that, that's a sign. It does it every time. You can watch all these stocks that they ride it, they bounce off of it, you know, and that's the 5-day moving average is really what that center line is. But like this is the one now that's a little overdone to me. Like, not to say it can't go higher. It's just I'm not getting in here. But this, you know, has a stair step pattern to the MACD. That's always super bullish. And then, you know, limiting your risk is always the next big step. Making sure that you put stop losses in. But was there anything insider wise? PBF continues to hammer away here. But getting nowhere with it. You know, in Capricorn, when it actually had, what is Capricorn? I just want to look at the when was that insider from? 9/20. Oh, that's annoying. That was filed. Oh no, that just came out today. See, it's like someone do that. Just the next day, all of a sudden, it's up by that, and now this. But once again, if you were following the MACD here, it would have started to hint you in on this. I mean, don't get me wrong, it had a great run up here. You know, it had broken through here, and it started to run up. So this was your hint that something was changing here, something was happening. But obviously, it's always easy in hindsight to see what caused it. It's recognizing it as it's happening. else? Lucy. What's Carmart doing? Wow. It's dragging. And that's the other thing too, is like with the charts, it helps to kind of help point your focus, because you know I could go through literally, like, you know, in my database, you know, I've looked at 1,100 stocks or so, and when you're going through that trying to find stuff, it's like it can kind of just become like mind numbing, because it doesn't matter at a certain point. You're just like, wow, look at this, 500. Is that 551 million? Who the hell is buying this? Look at that chart. This was $10 in COVID. 62 bucks. This is like a real investor's dream right here. And especially this last year. I mean, this last year's been huge. Last few months, really. Oops. Is there anything else that's catching my eye right now? GTE. See, like GTE is a great example. You know, you can start, and this is a weekly chart, but you can start to see it finally break out here. And then, I mean, and then look at this ridiculous run it has on, and until it breaks back down through the 10-day moving average here, you know, you would have got in here, if you would bought on this weekly chart, you would have got in at 550 and just rode that. I mean, this looks like it's starting to break out, but still in a bit of a downtrend on everything, so it's tough to say. I think it would need heavier volume. Try to get on. I think I bought Yext on one of these days, but I can't remember. I don't think I held it. I don't remember. I hope it must. I think it was this. I think it was too late is the problem. It's already peak after that main volume. Ugh. Close up some of these. But I will say, you know, even on the down days too, like I said, I wasn't paying attention as close as I should have been, because I really could have trimmed some stuff and saved myself, because I probably would be up another, probably like maybe 1.5% right now, which whatever would put me at 11. So I'm still trailing S&P, which I think is at 15 or 16% for the year. So I got to at least beat that, at least since this strategy started. But we'll see. I think MBLY, how did this one look? We'll see. So I think I must have bought on this day here, the 19th. So it's already up a little bit, which is kind of annoying, and you know, it never really took off quite like, you know, you would hope. But holding it now for just a few days, we'll see where it can go. you know, it looks like now it's riding that Bollinger Band. So this is one of the ones that it's still a decent position, but which makes me feel better. Among the worst Middle East and Africa stocks to buy now. Thank you. Thank you. It's very huge confidence for me. Actually, you know what? Whatever this stupid shit on here says, I'll just do the opposite, because that would, you'll be better off not listening to these. It's up and after hours. I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll see. We'll see what it can do. So wall of volume there. Last Thursday? That sounds about right. But maybe I got it on Thursday. So it's not up yet. Yeah, and it's about, I probably took about a 10%. Maybe it's up a little. I might be up a little bit on it. Honestly, I wish it was easier to pull in my stuff from Fidelity into here without, for some reason when I copy and paste in this sheet, it's so slow. Just putting the names and the percentages in here is always a pain. What else was moving today? Anything interesting? So just looking through some of the risk columns here. Sylvain, what's Sylvain doing? That had the run up too. It's up to the next moving average. It's still going up. This is just because people are going into gold and commodities, because, you know, it's obviously it's struggling right now. It has been struggling, I should say, really. I mean, you look at the long-term chart on this. It's not pretty. So rig still holding around 5. Mid 4s. Is this the ETF? Yeah, it is. Interesting. It's one thing I don't really buy ETFs, but I was thinking in terms of like a swing. If you're swing trading and you're bullish, I mean, it's no different than if you was bullish on like a company because of like its commodity or something like that. So some of these like ETFs, like China Internet type companies, which are, you know, that's a big area. You know, like I said, JD and PDD and Baba and all those companies that, you know, are massive over there, the Amazons and stuff of the East, I guess you'd call it. They like look at this ETF. This looks ridiculous. You know, and it has ran up before. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not hopping in right here, but I mean, on that kind of volume, on that kind of run up. What I need to do is work on my screeners to be able to show me when it's breaking its 10-day moving average and MACD is becoming positive. Because for me, it's a great indicator, at least to look at. I feel like if I was to look at that and then every day just kind of watch for volume and or stories and see where a company's at in its cycle, that would probably mean more to me than almost anything these days. Because, like, you know, even with the database, like scrolling through some of these things, like I haven't looked at in a while, it's nice to have it labeled like that. But in the long run, how much does that actually help me? I don't know, because honestly, the ones like Alto and stuff, and you'll notice I did back out of Alto. I sold it for a reasonable gain, but I'm following the charts because I did this last time with Alto and got burnt doing it. And I know I still am bullish in terms of what Alto's doing, but let me just pull up that chart just to show you what I'm trying to say. You know, this is telling me it's breaking down. It broke below this 10-day moving average. So I had gotten in, I believe, on this day, one of these 2 days here. And I trimmed, I think I trimmed on the 19th when it was pulling back. Because I figured, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you know what? I think I trimmed on this day. I think I was all excited because it hit like this $1.86 and then it pulled back by the end of the day. So I'm pretty sure that was the 5th day. So for me, I've been trying to trim 3 to 5 days after an initial breakout. So if we count this as day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this actually is day 6. But I probably didn't get in. Maybe I didn't even count it until here because sometimes you can go a little bit further, especially at a good run like this. And then once again, pulled back, and I ended up selling the rest of it. I believe must have been it might have been on Friday. Was that right? Maybe. I don't know. After the big pullback, I'm surprised. I would have usually waited for this, but I didn't sell it today. I sold it before that. So I don't know. Maybe I was just annoyed at this big pullback on this day. That must have been what it was. Because it's like I said, it's just frustrating that some of these things that it should work out in the long run, but it's just being patient. So if you're in it and you've been in it like Johnny has for like so long, but to me, I figure every time I'll make this move every time it happens with Alto, every time, because I have the confidence that it will get back up there. And I think Johnny and I had talked on the stream about saying how it was going to hit this moving average here, because I'm telling you, all the big institutions, that's where they set their buys and sells, is on these moving averages. You wonder why these moving averages matter. It doesn't really matter, but what does matter is the market sets these prices. So they, their computers or whoever's doing it, sees this as the 200-day moving average, and it sells like, okay, that's a sell point for the stock, not to hold past there, and boom, taps it and right back down. Same thing here. It could bounce off this 10-day moving average, but to me, everything looks like it's pulling back. It's back to, it's on lower volume down here, but I mean, a large volume sell off on that day. That's probably what it was. It's probably all this volume here that made me think like, okay, this run's already over, because if you think about it, these were all the people getting in and they're already getting out on these 2 days. So it's what happens. Just bounce around. In general, still relatively low volume. I mean, we're still talking under 500,000 shares. Even like a crazy day is only 2 million shares, which for a company with in what my opinion is a pretty large catalyst coming up, which is just the fact that I really think it's about to turn around. But I pay attention to it now. I'm trying to stick to my rules, regardless of it's not about whether I'm right or wrong in the story. It's about what the market's telling me to do. On top of the fact that I'm believing in my story, so it gives me the confidence to go in on some of those smaller names that normally most people wouldn't touch. They would, most of the traders will tell you you never touch a company that's not at its highs and blah blah blah. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I guess that's the value side of me thinking. I kind of like having a margin of safety, and then it looks like it's about to take off on the chart. That to me is a much more interesting play. Which maybe that's a slight edge compared to most traders, because they're not doing that, and most traders don't know how to look at the fundamentals, so they don't know the difference between a falling knife and one that's just moving on a chart. But to be honest, actually, I mean, I didn't mean to even go through quite this much stuff, but what's High Peak doing here? I'm just trying to see if there's any other names I missed. Wow, look at that. This is the longest handle ever, if this is a handle. This one's tough. This one's all over the damn place. These guys don't really have it. And this is the other thing too, is like, a lot of these companies that normally I wouldn't even look at something like this, but then, how do you ignore this chart? It's done it so many times, this is in the past year, but we're talking 1, 2, that one's not really a great one. This one you might Well, but even if you had bought it on like this day, you still would get out somewhere in here. Somewhere in here would be telling you to get out. Still be a profit. And same with this one. And now this one's even it's the biggest one yet. This is in such a short period. And this one even got signaled by the volume, you know. This is the day that you would be trying to look at this one. All right. Well, in hindsight, that was a stupid one to miss. But yeah, I don't think there's too much else to go over tonight. I'm hoping for the rest of the week. Johnny will be on Thursday. I'm trying to think. This weekend, I feel like I had something to do, but maybe not. So I imagine we'll be on our normal time Saturday, and then John will be on his time Thursday. Now that I got this all updated, I shouldn't have to deal with any of that BS. I should be able to just kind of stick to it. And normally I spend the time that I spent doing this, finding all my different stuff and bringing that into the fundamentals. So I have stuff to go through, which, didn't have it today. But it's whatever. I had to get this done. And like I said, I'm sorry. I just don't have time to do it during the days. It's nonstop. And then I got another kid on the way. So it's going to get worse. I'm going to be losing my mind here more than I normally am. So either way, thank you for tuning in. Tretvo or however you say your name. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sorry I was not on time. I do apologize. If you're not in the Discord, you should join it, because the Discord is where I put it out that I was going to be a little late just because try to get the word out there. It's annoying that there's not like YouTube. Maybe there's YouTube alerts. I don't even know. But question on Discord. I really appreciate it. You can take a moment to check it out. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll check it out as soon as I'm off, man. And then trying to think if there's anything else that Johnny and I had spoke about. Like I said, last week I was out of town. I just had a bunch of stuff I was dealing with, so I just feel like totally out of the loop. I was like, oh, this is annoying, because even with swing trading, it's like you still want to be able to check stuff, and I was like out and about and doing everything on your phone. It's just terrible, and it's like you're trying to check charts and stuff before the market close. I'm like, just screw it. I'm like, I'll just deal with it. I was already in a good spot. I can't complain. The past few weeks since I've been doing this kind of swing strategy, it's been working. I went from negative to positive almost immediately, and most of the names are still holding up. Don't get me wrong. I get stopped out of stuff. You're gonna get stopped out. You have to just accept there's gonna be losers, but if everything signals the right things, you have to just kind of take that leap of faith. It's just the way it goes, and then just set your stops and your risk tolerance accordingly. But once again, thank you. Anybody else, if you peeked in for a sec, please subscribe, join the Discord, join the chat. Hopefully this week I'll be in again. But thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks, chat, man. Have a good one.